The way you see things determine how you respond. If you see life in a certain way, you respond in the same way to life because how you see situation is so much important, so much more important. There was a young, beautiful lady in a village. There was no access to mirror in the village. There was no civilization. There was no modernization. So she never knew she was beautiful because every time she goes to the river, which is the only place she can see a reflection, she doesn't see someone beautiful in the river because the river has some mud and some dirty particles that cannot make the original reflection to be in the exact way it is. So, fortunately for this person, there was a young man that came to the village. This man was having a mirror in his bag. Then the young beautiful lady was privileged as if the house was burning. Everyone was like, what is going on? They just looked at her with great attention. And she said, I am beautiful, I am beautiful, I am beautiful. Even though there was no changes in her life, but she was beautiful, as she said, because she saw herself differently. How you see life situations could be affected based on your opinion. You have to see differently if you want to be different than others. If you want to be different than other people, then see differently. So, when you see differently in a town where people were so much scared and in an environment when people were so much terrified by different occurrences, if you are bold and you see yourself as the son of the living God, you see yourself as someone that has been anointed, you see yourself as someone that is protected by angelic hosts, you see yourself as someone that has covenant with God, then you can live a life that is full of boldness and courage. How you see determines how you feel. If you see that something is wrong, then you begin to feel that something is wrong. There was a time I was using a marker, and that marker, I read that there's acid in it, that you have to be careful when using the marker. So when I saw that, I began to feel like pain in my head. Then I just said to myself, wait a moment, this thing is not real. Just because you saw that, then you begin to feel that. Many times there are some feelings that comes with what we see, even though they are not real. If you want to feel better, if you want to feel good, see differently. When you begin to see your enemy as your friend, then you can begin to love your enemy. Just like David, even though he knew that Saul has made himself his enemy, but because he saw Saul as a different person, he loved him. Even though he had the chance to kill Saul, he did not kill Saul because he saw Saul as someone different. Now, when you have someone in your life and you always feel like this person is terrible to be with me, this person is terrible for me, why don't you just wait and pause and rethink and see them differently? Maybe someone that has hurt you in your lifetime, or someone that has done something evil to you, or someone that you just don't feel like they are your friends. You can see them as your enemy. Why don't you see them differently and see what is going on? I've heard many people giving testimony about how they came to realize the truth about a person. When you see differently, there are more truths that can be revealed to you. When you see differently, you can make a change. I was privileged to see a man in a video how he was moving around and giving homeless people haircut. One of the things that people doesn't want to do, the last thing they would do is to be around homeless people, because sometimes they feel unsick. They feel like they are not secure. They feel like they could be hurt any moment. And saw homeless people as someone so much important as himself. He valued them because the way he saw them. Then he was around them, giving them haircut, making changes in their life, trying to make them to be handsome because he saw them differently. No, when you see someone differently, there are many huge impacts you can make in their life. Because seeing differently helps you to respond in a more precise way to a situation. It makes you to feel good. It makes you to see something that people cannot see with ordinary eyes. My mom told me a story about her life. How a person always determined not to be a friend. And that person, every time she see my mom, she always feel different. Then the Lord brought the two of them together and they became friends. And that person confesses that I heard something about you. And that makes me to see in a different way. That makes me, I can tell that everything I heard about you is not true. Because one of the things that people fall for, one of the trickery, deception of man, is to believe deception about another person. Many persons might have say evil things about you to someone else, and that person, the moment the person see you, they just feel like this person is terrible. But that moment that they begin to see you differently is when they come to their senses to realize that what they were told is not true. If you have someone in your life that you just feel like this person is not the right person for me, is not good for me, I can just go along with this person, just see the person differently. Do not believe deception that has been spoken to you concerning another person. Though some of them might be true, but many times they are not true. You can turn your situation around. You can make your imagination to become real. You can create your own world. You can make a huge impact in your society, even in your life and in the life of people around you. Seeing differently is something that can help you. I believe that blesses you.